Shock Monkey Radio is entertainment for adults, by adults, and the views and opinions expressed here do not reflect upon the sponsors or FXBG Public Radio. For additional information, please refer to the United States Bill of Rights. Stand warned. Well, Lent is over, and Gavin McInnes quit alcohol, not beer. Gavin McInnes quit alcohol, not beer, but I'm not one to judge. For Lent, I quit nothing because I'm a Baptist, and I don't pray to Jesus' mom, and therefore breaking the first commandment. So, welcome to, now that we've alienated the papists, welcome to Shock Monkey Radio. I'm your host, the Madman. I'd like to remind you that I have a Patreon. I have social media. You can see over here. You can follow me over there, or send me money through Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio, or send me money through Cash App, hashtag shockmonkeyradio. I'd appreciate it. Yeah, sorry for being mean today. If everything seems a little half-assed, it's intentional. All right. So I just wanted you to know. I'm not trying to, I love my Catholic friends. I really do. At the end of the day, we all study the same book. We all believe in the same things. Except, let's be honest. Rome had a hell of a time transitioning from polytheism to monotheism, and so that's why you have to pray to the Virgin Mary, who, by the way, probably wasn't a virgin for very long, if you know what I mean. Nobody dies a virgin. There's some people die a virgin, but people like Mary didn't die a virgin. So virginity is like a temporary title. All right, just keep that in mind. All right. She lost her virginity a long time ago. And, also that's why they have all their saints and so forth. I love you Catholic guys, but there's stuff in there the stuff that you do that it just doesn't make any sense. Your little Catholic king, I don't get it. The little hierarchy of the caste system of the clergy. I don't really get any of that. The confessional? Show me a verse in the Bible. Show me a verse in the Bible. Anyway, I love you all. I love you all. Make no mistake. Anyway, so I'm done making fun of other people. I'm going to make fun of myself for a bit. Okay, I got some comments on some old videos. You have to go back and watch all my old videos to find out what comments I'm referring to. A couple comments like you should rename the show Rockbiter. It was like rename the show the Snaggletooth Hour. And I think these are, pretty good titles for a show. If I wanted to rebrand and stuff like that, I could get a little cartoon cat. But that's the point. I think I'd probably get sued if I used either of those things. The people who own the property, Never-Ending Story, and what is it, Hanna-Barbera that has a Snaggletooth character? I think it's very clever. I mean, but I think, and maybe we could rebrand in that way. But however, I can't help but think comments like this are designed to hurt my feelings. And, I'm going to tell you honestly, it's going to be real hard. Just to let you know, it's going to be real hard to hurt my feelings because I'm a sociopath and I don't have any. No, seriously, I have feelings, obviously. But you're not going to hurt my feelings. Look, I got bullied in the 80s. All right? None of that stuff phases me. All right? I think it was, sometime in the 80s, just tired of all the bullying and stuff like that. Tired of people making fun of me for my imperfections, And I'm just like, I just realized, I really don't care what you think. I really don't care. And, at that, when you stop caring and the whole bus is picking on you, coming up with insults for you, and you can join in. You can start making fun of yourself and come up with the best zingers, because who knows you better than you? And you know what? You point at yourself, and you know what? This kid thinks that Weird Al Yankovic is a musical genius. I still don't disagree with that thought. You can come up with the best insults for yourself. I've seen him eat his boogers. There is no bully greater than I am to myself. All right. And so once you start not caring what anyone else thinks, it kind of unshackles you from this caring about how can anyone hurt your feelings. There's people stuff just rolls off your back. People insult you and you're just like, eh. They're like, yeah, I don't care what you think about me. I know my intent. I know who I am, and I know what I'd do for you. You know, I could be a really good friend, but you know, at the end of the day, you're insulting strangers over the internet. All right? You know, and that's just what angry people do these days. They used to learn how to play drums. That's what I did in the 90s before the internet. I played drums. And let me tell you something, you know, bullying, I don't know, it's hard for me to say that there isn't a place for bullying in the world, because I kind of like bullying, because once you're unshackled of what anyone thinks of you, and this is something I really learned in the Navy, is like you stop thinking of yourself as, you know, it kind of sheds your ego a little bit. And so you think of making fun of yourself and others is just a casual thing. And that's when you start riffing with dudes and it's just making jokes, you know? It's how dudes talk. They try to come up with the best insults for each other, you know? You know, that's just the way it is. And that's when you're free, when you truly have no ego to harm, then that's when it's a lot of fun. You know what I mean? You know, I've heard these guys, like, sometimes it's like, oh man, I took a whole bunch of acid once and I shed my ego. And no, you didn't. You're still telling me about it like it's some sort of religious experience you feel you need to share with others. That's your ego. So, yeah, stop caring what people think of you, you know, and unshackle your sense of humor. That's the advice I want to give you today. Holy cow, you were under there the whole time?
The whole time.
What were you doing?
Adjusting the compressor.
Is everything okay with the audio?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was being profound.
Well, that sounds great.
I thought maybe you're crying under there. It's like, everything he's saying is so true. On a lighter subject, you know, it's like the metaphor I came up when thinking of what I was just talking about is me trying to convince other dudes in my 20s that I wasn't gay. There are a lot of guys in the Navy who would all hit the clubs and stuff like that, and they're like, hey man, I never see you really talking to any girls or anything like that. And I try to explain to them, well, I don't lead with my dick like all of you do. You just come in there, you know, metaphorically whip it out, hey baby, what's up, and stuff. I don't want that kind of connection with a woman. I want a conversation with the woman. And by the way, can you tell the DJ to turn the music down? I can barely hear you, you know? And I realize it's like club life isn't for me. And so it's just, I was a fish out of water in many ways. So I just hang in the corner, drink my beer, and I don't know, get your back if some Marine pushes you or something. I don't know. I like looking at pretty girls, thinking maybe one of them will say, hey, you want to get out of here where we could have a conversation? Nah, they don't want to do that. Look, you want to have a conversation about your comic book collection? How many you got? I can't hear you over the club. Let's go to my car and have a conversation about your comic books. And how you're trying to learn Spanish and the ukulele. No. But I mean, and so for guys like that who are like aggressively would go after women, they would think that, you know, because I wasn't like them, I was not straight. I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense. You know, I'm a different breed, I suppose. All right. Got court coming up. 2 weeks. Not this Friday. 2 Fridays from now. And I got an idea. I think I'm going to pin it all on Alanis Morissette. I'm going to say that, you know, during my high school formative years, you know, Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill came out, and one of that big song, you know, and I got one hand in my pocket and the other one's flicking a cigarette. And so I thought it was legal. And so, because, I mean, it's not like anybody did anything to Alanis Morissette. Because she's telling people it's okay to flick cigarettes. Maybe it's just a Canadian thing. Is it legal in Canada to flick cigarettes? I think it would be less legal in Canada to flick cigarettes. What do you think?
I would agree.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to pin it on Alanis Morissette. I mean, it'd be cool to meet her. Because, I mean, you know, it was my formative years. You know, the Alanis Morissette era. That was my high school, you know. It was a good part of grunge, was the Jagged Little Pill album, you know. Because I remember, like, Alanis Morissette, she was normal, like, Paula Abdul kind of poppy, and then she did this Jagged Little Pill album with the grunge kind of feel to it, and it was awesome. But it'd be cool to like, hey, I'm a kind of a fan, Alanis Morissette. You got weird after that, but I mean, let's be honest, you never were not weird. Loved you in Dogma. Loved you in Dogma. I think it's funny because, you know, Alanis Morissette in many ways has always been a big wood for me. Something about those dark hair, brown eyed girls, you know, like her, who have a talent. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's like a song that reached you in a way. I don't know. I just can't get into Taylor Swift. She's clearly a better looking woman, but I just can't connect with her on the music. You know what I mean? And that's the point of music, is that you can connect better with an ugly person who plays good music. That's why ugly people learn how to play instruments. That's why I play 3 and still single. And that would be my rant to the judge, apparently. Boy, I hope I don't get sidetracked if they start asking me questions. You know? How do you feel, Mr. Robbins, about this? Oh, well, you know, I didn't think a forest fire would ensue, but I mean, I know it was just a bunch of horse pens over there. If the grass all caught on fire and the trees, it would just go straight to the barns and just horses would die, which is okay. We should be killing the horses, Your Honor. Why are we not? I demand to know why we are not killing horses, Your Honor. Yeah, I don't want to get sidetracked. I can get into a lot of trouble. Anyway, so it's not something I'm really worried about coming up, you know, but it's one of those things is like, I can't wait for it to be over and done with. I'm not too worried about what is really going to happen. I can keep my cool when needed to. I don't have, I know when it is or when it is not a good time to rant about horses. But I just want this date to be passed and dealt with so that I can move on with my life. Because the day I got that ticket, I was like, thank God, this is probably just going to be something I can mail in a fine. My bad. Keep an ashtray in my car from now on, which I did. My bad. But no, I got to go to court. They want me to get like 9 o'clock in the morning, like a.m., 9 a.m. I swore when I got out of the Navy, I never wanted to get up that early again. I never wanted to get up before the sun again. I never wanted to, a lot of things I'd never wanted to do again when I left the Navy. Anyway, weird mood this week, I'm telling you. All right. I can give a little pause here for the agua break. People are like, you drink a lot of water. I was like, well, I drink a lot of beer too. And so that's why I drink a lot of water. Also, the medication, you know, antidepressants give you dry mouth and so forth. You know, you get like, was that Me, Myself, and Irene, Jim Carrey? It becomes really annoying. So trust me, it's better that I'm drinking water. All right. This next subject, I don't know. I don't think cops should swear. All right. Like I always say, I've watched a lot of police body cam videos, and when I hear a cop use the F word or use profanity, I find it to be unprofessional. All right. Now I understand in a situation where there's a guy who ran from you, he had to pit maneuver him. You know, and he's on the side of the road in his tinted windows and he's digging around in his car and you got your guns drawn. I can understand your adrenaline's up, you know, it's a tense situation and you're like, show me your effing hands. I could let that slide. However, I still think it's unprofessional. All right. Now, when it comes to criminals, there's no way you could stop them from swearing up a storm. They're the criminals after all. But I think that if police maintain that kind of discipline, like verbal discipline, it would kind of give them the high ground socially, especially in body cam videos. Because there's several body cam videos where I've seen cops use profanity and they're using it simply because they're angry. And I think that that's why profanity should not be used by police officers, because I think when you start hearing a lot of profanity, there's a lot of emotion in that whatever that person's saying. When people start getting emotional, F-bombs start dropping. It's the way it is. It's the way humans are. And so when I hear a cop like pointing at somebody saying, no, we're not doing what you're telling us. You're doing what you're effing told. When I see something like that, I felt that's incredibly unprofessional. I understand these people can be crazy and dangerous and everything like that. But it's a simple verbal discipline, which I think gives you the moral high ground, helps you keep the moral high ground in those situations. I don't think cops should swear. Damn it. Gosh darn it. You know how fast you're going? You were going 95 frickin' miles an hour. I can't think of any like Nerf. They start using Nerf words. You lint liquor. You naughty Nelly. You lint liquor. I guess they would, I don't know, maybe they would replace it with that. People are going to swear. I understand, you're going to bash your thumb. You're going to be in a shootout in a hallway. And your adrenaline's going and you think you're going to die and you don't want to die. You don't want anyone else to die. Drop the effing gun. I get it. But not every situation is that. Cops shouldn't swear. All right, let's talk about the movie I watched this week. The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, the C.S. Lewis Chronicles of Narnia movie. I don't think they made any more after this one, which is, I don't know, I think that's tragic. They made the first two, and I knew what happened, because I read all the books, all right? I read all the books, and the third one was when I said, okay, I'm definitely going to read the entire series, because I really loved this book, and I do like this movie. I don't think it works as a movie so much as a book. It captured my imagination more as a book, and because I remember when the movies came out, it was like the first one's fine. Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe is fine. It's a good straight up Christian, Jesus allegory, with Aslan being the Christ figure and so forth. It's and with Santa Claus thrown in it. Father Christmas shows up and it's like, what the hell is this? There's always been a little bit of an absurdity to C.S. Lewis's work. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And it happens even here in the Chronicles of Narnia, the Voyage of the Dawn Treader, with like the Hufflepuffs, the one-footed creatures. They're absurd little creatures on the Magician's Island, And so I remember, the first movie was fine. The second movie with Prince Caspian, when it came out, I reluctantly saw it because I knew I've read Prince Caspian and I thought it was boring as hell. The movie was boring as hell. And so, but the third book really made me like the series and made me read the rest of it. There's more boring books down the line, but there's other movies I would like to see made in that series, like, what's it called? The Magician's Nephew? Oh, man. I love that book, too. And so this movie, it kind of shows how, like, teleporting to Narnia starts becoming, like, just catching a train, for these people. It's like, oh, it's a boat this time. And whenever you have, like, these stories of these people going to these alternate worlds, because, a lot of writers write like this, stories like this. It becomes almost like old hat, it's like, it's the 10:15 ship to Narnia. We got to catch it. I didn't know this morning, but it just showed up on my itinerary because water's pouring out of this painting on the wall. That old Narnia magic. Talking mice and minotaurs. And it's great. I mean, Reepicheep, obviously, is a great character from the Prince Caspian book. But I really like Reepicheep in this one because, he was just Reepicheep. I mean, it's just a character, and he's a hell of a character at that. And what I liked, I guess maybe it's the Navy blood in me that before I even joined the Navy, I read this book and liked it because it's the kind of the era of discovering new lands, the age of exploration, in many ways. And part of me would have loved to have lived in that area where you're just sailing off across the ocean. It's like people saying there's sea monsters out there, crazy lands filled with elves or, fairies or something like that. Crazy stories you're hearing. The world's not completely discovered yet. And I think that's what I like about this is that they're sailing off to the Western Islands, Eastern Islands? I forget. Eastern. Yeah, Eastern. And they're discovering these new islands. And it's like, of course, there have been other explorers that can't come before them. But, it's also like a lot of mystical enchantment land. And it's It's a cool adventure story. And so, I mean, that's what I liked about the story as a book, and that's what I like about it as a movie. Like I said, it's like some of the stuff I would have rather have left to the imagination. Like I preferred my imagination of the adventure on the Magician's Island. The way I pictured the Dufflepuds. Is that what they're called? Did you read this book? No? Okay. The one-footed creatures. I pictured them differently. Let me just put it down. And so, you know, I don't think it works. A lot of these, you know, fantasy, I think a lot of it works better in the imagination. Maybe I'm just old school. I read the books, and I'm not giving up on the time. It takes it decidedly longer than the length of that movie to read the whole book. That's for sure. I don't read that fast. But it's, I don't know. It's like the coolest D&D game you ever played, but the DM, the Dungeon Master, is a Christian. And that makes for a mix of everything I like in a story, in a book, in a movie. And I give it 9 of 13 stars. But I don't know. I don't like Edmund as a character. I don't like that guy. Oh, my brother's so awesome. I suck. Grow up, kid. Same thing with Lucy. I don't like Lucy. It's like, oh, Susan's so pretty. It's like, meh. Give yourself a couple years. You'll probably look better than that girl. Susan's so pretty. Anyway, I don't know. I've never been a little girl and had an older sister. What do I know? Let's go ahead and get to the news worth knowing. Denver cutting some city employees' hours down to 0 in order to support migrants. The volume off. Okay. The city of Denver on Monday announced some of its employees may have to have all of their hours cut in order to reallocate funds towards dealing with the city's migrant crisis. Quote, the city of Denver is trying to avoid the word layoffs when it comes to the impending budget cuts. So instead, they're telling some hourly on-call employees they may have their hours reduced to 0. Local NBC affiliate 9 News reported. The city government is looking to cut $4.3 million in funding from its Park and Recreations Department and use that money towards handling the migrant crisis that has been stressing the city's resources. Denver Parks and Recreation Director Jolon Clark provided details on the budget cuts in a recent statement. The reduction in hours of operation and programs will affect a number of hours worked, but by many on call, some to the point where they may not receive any hours, he told 9 News. Final decisions on hours or any individual position has not been made yet. Have not been made? According to the department, the city employees whose hours go on the chopping block are on-call employees, which includes lifeguards, coaches, and front desk workers. So, yeah. That's the smartest, because some people who are like everyday people, you don't want to cut those guys, right? It's the I don't know, the fluff. The number of hours on call work will vary from individual to individual by the season. Some on call can support multiple functions. Some may only teach one class all year long. Employees who can't make a living thanks to the cuts are eligible to apply for unemployment benefits. Yeah, so this is out of hand. This is already out of hand. And something needs to be done about it, you know. The Democrats have been dragging their feet on this, on the border, on the fact that, like, all these people, all these criminals, we're going to talk about some other stuff too. We got some other stuff coming too. And so, I mean, when normal Americans are losing priority to the government over these migrants and these, you know, illegal immigrants, you know, that's a serious problem. That's how you lose people's support in democratic elections and so forth. You're pissing off voters that you think you know would support you anyway. It's like, oh, I'm all for the open borders, man. No human is illegal, and then you're getting stabbed. You know, you lose your job because the city can't pay you. because they're taking care of so many illegal immigrants. We need to get busy about these people. Deport people. You know what I'm saying? Like, get serious about all this stuff. Feeding back?
Not anymore. I turned it down.
Oh, okay. I might as well just take them off. Anyway, this is weird. I'm just going to close this window. All right. Yeah, and this is not just, just one city. This is happening in all the major cities because this is where these people are going. Find this place to. Not as people. They can't wait to get to America and start robbing rich people. Anyway, let's go to the next story. Lack and Riley case. Hecklers shout down Athens mayor as he denies sanctuary city, announces public safety funds. Now, this is a hot mess. Okay. So, angry Georgia residents interrupted Athens Mayor Kelly Girtz Wednesday morning as he held a news briefing to discuss public safety in the community after the murder of a nursing student, Laken Riley, on the University of Georgia campus last week. The Democratic mayor delivered remarks Wednesday, nearly a week after an illegal immigrant from Venezuela named Jose Antonio Ibarra allegedly attacked Riley near Lake Herrick in UGA's intramural field. Quote, the only appropriate number of murders in this community, the number that we're going to be working our tails off every day is is 0, Girtz said. However, protesters interrupted him as he attempted to dismiss the notion of a sanctuary city. You're a liar, the man shouted repeatedly. You're the one who is guilty and got blood on your hands for this murder, sir. Other protesters gathered quietly in the back of the room, holding signs that blood is on your hands and make Athens safe again. Several voices chimed in at times demanding the mayor resign. Girtz said Georgia law does not allow for sanctuary cities and repeatedly rejected the characterizations of Athens as a sanctuary. There's been no legislation. This is a quote. There's been no legislation from this government that it's created sanctuary city status, he said. A reporter pressed the mayor on the issue anyway, noting that regardless of whether Athens could officially be considered a sanctuary, police found multiple illegal immigrants in Ibarra's Athens apartment. What? Really? We're deeply sorry for this tragedy, Girtz replied. Responsibility for this crime rests solely on the perpetrator. Sure. However, when you create an environment for people like that to come into our country, be on our streets, murder our citizens, murder we citizens, that's a different story altogether. Ibarra's brother, Diego Ibarra, also allegedly handed police a fake green card when they interviewed him as part of the investigation into Riley slaying. Authorities acknowledged, questioning multiple people in connection with the murder, but only charged one suspect after taking part in the attack. Both Ibarras had previous run-ins with Athens Clark County Police, according to a September shoplifting case, in which they had allegedly stole $200 in goods from the local Walmart. But they remain free. Trauma affects us all, Girtz said when asked to address the repeated interruptions. And I understand in the wake of a great tragedy like this, we are deeply hurt, and everybody expresses their hurt differently. Girtz said the local government is planning to complete a real-time crime center established last year that will feed public, private, and UGA surveillance cameras to a law enforcement monitoring facilities staffed around the clock. He also touted pay raises for police officers and said the department recently expanded its staffing for the first time in 5 years. His comments come a day after UGA announced $7 million investment in improving on-campus security measures. Murders in Athens Clark County have trended downwards for decades, Girtz said, even as the population increases on an average of 1,000 per year. There's still work to be done. However, he said Athens ranks about in the middle of the pack for comparably sized SEC college towns. Baton Rouge has twice the crime rate. Yeah, you're just going to list other cities that have less crime rate? Doesn't matter. It's like you're living in that city. That's the city you live in. Don't compare yourself to other cities. Don't compare yourself to other nations. What the hell? Why do people think that, everything's universal? Think globally, act locally. Anyway. So, this is another situation where, people are mad. the city is not officially a sanctuary city, but the Democratic people who run these cities, they'll unofficially make it a sanctuary city. And so, these people get mad. They show up. A promising young lady gets killed by an illegal immigrant that the police had caught at one point, and he wasn't immediately deported. See, this is what I mean. It's like, it's out of hand. Need to fix this immediately, powers that be. And I don't think of the 158 subscribers, there's Joe Biden sitting there going, yeah, you got it, madman. I'm going to get right on top of that. Or maybe Donald Trump's one of my subscribers. He's like, I'm going to get right on it as soon as you elect me in. As soon as you elect me in. Why aren't you donating to my campaign? Screw you, Donald Trump. You donate to my campaign. I'm too poor. I'm scared I'm going to get... I'm going to lose all my money because of throwing a cigarette butt out the window. Anyway. Let's go on. A lot of heavy stuff today. A lot of heavy stuff. But, we still live in a dangerous world. So keep our friends in Texas in your prayers. Because the second largest wildfire in Texas history consumes 500,000 acres with no containment. 500,000 acres. Not only is that a lot of land, it just shows you how big Texas is. It's ridiculously huge. Wildland firefighters are working, this is Stinnett, Texas. Wildland firefighters are working to contain multiple massive wildfires burning in the Texas Panhandle region across the plains, fueled by unseasonably hot weather and gusty winds. 5 major wildfires in the Texas Panhandle have consumed more than 570,000 acres, prompting evacuations, road closures, and emergency declarations. Why'd they round it down to 500? It's 500,000. Then why didn't they write 500,000 instead of the 500,000? I don't get it. Anyway. Stop editing, madman. The largest fire burning is the Smokehouse Creek fire north of Stinnett with 0% containment. Woo! On Wednesday, the fire, when 0% containment is, that's just somebody's pointing at it? Because that sounds like 0%. Oh, there it is. Someone's coming. All right, the large 0% containment, Stinnett. On Wednesday, the fire exploded in size, growing from 300,000 acres to 500,000 acres, 500,000 acres, making it the second largest wildfire in Texas history. Thankfully, the weather is set to improve on Wednesday, with strong winds that have been impacting the fires expecting to diminish to 15 to 25 miles an hour, aiding in firefighting efforts. It's plains, so I'm sure that's like the lowest the wind gets. You know what I mean? Parts of this region will see snow potentially falling on fires Thursday as a weak low pressure system moves into the Texas Panhandle from New Mexico. The Fox Forecast Center said accumulations will be very light, generally under an inch. Hopefully enough to put it out. However, as quickly as the weather shifts to help the firefight, it will shift back to potentially to hamper it. Yeah, weather's unpredictable. Temperatures on Friday will warm back into the 70s with 30-plus mile-an-hour winds, relative humidity below 20%. These conditions are expected to persist through the weekend. Ooh. On Thursday, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, geez, he is a busy man, issued a disaster declaration for 60 Texas counties because of the rapidly spreading wildfires in the Lone Star State. Declaration allows additional state resources to support local firefighters. Firefighters working to protect people and structures, and the fire rapidly spread through the town of Canadian, Texas, in Hemp Hill County. The wildfire burned through automated weather structure known as the Mesonet station Tuesday afternoon. According to West Texas Mesonet, which operates the station, the temperature as high as 126 degrees was recorded at the site before it was destroyed. You can only take 126 degrees? Seems you can make it better. Why get the reading if you don't? Anyway. Gusty winds between 40 and 50 miles an hour pushed the fire north of Pampa, Texas, according to Texas A&M Forest Service. The operations in the nuclear facility outside of Amarillo were halted. Is it Amarillo? Amarillo? Were halted after the flames got dangerously close to the property. Late Tuesday, Pantech said that the facility's employees were accounted for and firefighters were in the structure protection mode, but the property remains secure. Side note, you remember Superman 3, where they had that chemical fire at the plant, and he goes to the lake and just freezes the top of the lake and then takes it over and just throws it on the fire. Man, sometimes you wish Superman was real, but then you'd realize he'd be like he is later in the movie after he gets hit by the kryptonite. If Superman were real, he'd be a dick. The video, living in a paper world. The video, okay, referring to a video. A polar orbiting satellite captures stunning growth. Oh my. Yeah, it's big. Gusty winds, of course, always an issue. Now here's a question. Do you think it all started with a cigarette butt? I hate to make it all about me. But do you think this started from a cigarette butt? Seriously, though, good luck with the firefighting efforts out there. You know, it's a serious issue. We live in a chaotic and crazy world. Do we not? Do we not? All right, one last heavy thing, and then we're going to have a little bit of fun before we go. All right, I'm going to have laugh at some racist pictures, and then, but first, the heavy stuff. Presidential candidates, activists praise, quote, sacrifice of U.S. airman who burned himself alive to protest Israel. You heard the story, UK? Left-wing presidential candidates and activists are praising the U.S. airman who committed suicide over the weekend by burning himself alive outside the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. Fire officials and police responded to the scene around 1 p.m. on Sunday, just moments after the 25-year-old Aaron Bushnell, who was serving in active duty in the Air Force, live-streamed himself approaching the gates of the embassy, dousing himself with an unknown liquid, setting himself on fire, and yelling, "Free Palestine," as his body burned. Quote, I don't even want to say this. Quote, "Rest in power, Aaron Bushnell. I will no longer be complicit in genocide. Free Palestine. May a sacrifice deepen our commitment to stop genocide now." Green Party presidential candidate Jill Stein wrote on a post on X, quoting Bushnell from his live stream and including a disturbing screenshot from the video showing his body on fire. Independent presidential candidate Cornel West echoed Stein, praising Bushnell's extraordinary courage and commitment after dying for truth and justice. "I pray for his precious loved ones. Let us rededicate ourselves to genuine solidarity with Palestinians undergoing genocidal attacks in real time," West added. The Democratic Socialists of America wrote Aaron's final words were to reject complicity in the United States genocide in Gaza. But now it's the United States doing this? "May his soul rest in peace, and we may live to free Palestine within our lifetime." Immediately after the flames covering Bushnell's body were extinguished, he was rushed to the hospital but later died. I think he lived like 7 hours after doing such a stupid thing. The Pentagon described his actions as a tragic event and offered condolences to his family. According to multiple reports following his death, Bushnell was an anarchist who grew up in a religious sect in Orleans, or is it Orleans? Massachusetts. I can't even say that right. Later attended events in Texas, I can say that, where he lived, organized by, quote, socialist organizations. He reportedly outraged of the ongoing war between Israel and Gaza. The Air Force has said is continuing to investigate his death. When reached for comment, Stein's campaign referred Fox News Digital to a Tuesday press release in which Stein said, "This extraordinary sacrifice brings into greater focus the immense horror that our government is committing in our name." Aaron Bushnell was very clear that he committed his extreme act of protest our government's extreme policies that are killing thousands of innocent people in horrific ways. His sacrifice is reminiscent of that monks protesting U.S.-backed oppression of people in Vietnam. It is truly tragic the horrific actions of the U.S. and Israel have provoked such a desperate sacrifice, she added. Fox News Digital reached out to West for comment. Cornel West. These people they're monstrous. They're monstrous. That kid is not a hero. He's a misled idiot. You know? And I remember after this story broke, I've been thinking a lot about it because having served in the military, I was thinking back to my training, and it's like there was not one class I had that explained who America's enemies are and why they conflict with the American way of life. I figured it was general knowledge. I knew why. I knew why that, you can never make never make peace with these Muslims. Not all Muslims, but okay. Whoa. All good. It's like you can't. Yeah, it's like it's not a religion of peace. It's a straight up a religion of war. And they want to kill everybody who's Jewish and everybody who's not their particular flavor of Islam. I thought it was general knowledge, but apparently I don't remember any classes where they teach this. They don't teach about why we're enemies with Russia, how they don't care about people's lives. It's like there's a war, they just throw bodies at it till they win. Or their enemy gets bogged down trying to take all the land that they control. That's what they do. All right. Like China. It's like our differences with China is because they're communist oppressors. They enslave like their working class or, living hand to mouth, literally. But did no one explain to this guys like why these people are enemies, why the Palestinians are enemies, why Hamas are enemies, why Hezbollah are enemies? It's because they want you to die. And believe me, Aaron Bushnell, they are happy you are dead. Because not only did you get killed, but you killed for their cause. You got killed for their cause, for their propaganda. And that's what people like the disgusting people who are congratulating him are doing. They're continuing the propaganda. These people you're talking about are awful people. I said it before, like a few shows back. They make Cobra look like sissies. They are vicious. They are vicious monsters who only understand violence. And you don't understand how comfortable you are in this Western paradise that we've made, relative paradise we made, where your whole life, your whole existence is not war and it is not fighting, like truly fighting to exist. And that's what the Jews have been dealing with for a long, long time. Since history, since people started writing stuff down, these people have been at each other's throats. I don't care what side you come down on it. You're not going to stop it by setting yourself on fire. It's a stupid thing to do. And I've seen the video. Have you seen it? Probably not. I don't know. I've seen the video. And I think there was a part of him that thought he was going to survive that. Moron. I'm concerned about the level of propaganda that is reaching people even in our U.S. military. Our U.S. military is not doing enough to protect the minds of the people that are in the military. You need to be clear with them about who our enemies are. And trust me, there's no genocide going on there. That's straight up war. That's straight up war, and they've been doing it for eons. You're not going to stop it by setting yourself on fire. Idiot. Dumb, misled kid. I don't know. What's the answer? How can he educate this kid? I would think maybe in the military you'd get some sort of education. But I guess not. I guess I was in that old generation where we actually learned stuff in the military. Well, I'm bummed out. Thoroughly bummed out. Let's laugh at some racist photos. Make us feel better. 2 more stories and we're out of here. So Google is, quote, working around the clock to fix unacceptable Gemini AI, CEO says. All right, Google is working to fix Gemini artificial intelligence tool. CEO Sundar Pichai told employees on Tuesday, calling the images generated by the model biased and completely unacceptable. The Alphabet-owned company paused Gemini's image generation feature last week after users on social media flagged that Gemini was creating inaccurate historical images that sometimes replaced white people with images of Black, Native American, and Asian people. In a note to employees, Pichai said the tool's responses were offensive to users and had shown bias. Our teams have been working around the clock to address these issues. We are already seeing substantial improvement on a wide range of prompts, and we review what happened to make sure we fix it at scale. He plans to relaunch the Gemini AI in the next few weeks. News website Semaphore first reported the news, which was later confirmed by a Google spokesperson. Google had issued several apologies for Gemini after critics slammed the AI for creating, quote, woke content. Let's look at the pictures. Have you seen the pictures, EK?
I saw them briefly.
Yeah. Okay. Show me a 1943 German soldier. All right, we got that top left one looks like a toy, like a model or an action figure of one. That kind of looks accurate. Then you got a Vietnamese woman in a Nazi uniform.
Yeah, explain to me.
The black guy?
Explain to me this.
What?
Explain to me how that is a German soldier.
I don't know how that's a German soldier, man. That's the point. This doesn't make any sense. Even women weren't really in the military in Germany. It's absurd. It's so racist. It's funny, and they intentionally did this. They tested this stuff. Look at that guy.
German soldier.
A German soldier. He looks like he's got some rank too. Looks like he's got an officer's uniform on. Hey, that's how woke it is. He can't just be a grunt. He's got to be an officer. And that was like a Native American medic, Nazi medic.
No piece of this makes sense to me. I'm so confused.
I know. It's so ridiculous and racist, and they put it out intentionally. And it's so racist. It's funny. There are people who... It's confusing. It's confusing. Funny. I guess I just laugh when I'm confused. That's why I'm always laughing at my show.
This?
Yeah, these are the other ones. Yeah. Portrait of the Founding Fathers of America. All right, guy in a headdress. All right, Native American.
Okay, I'll buy that.
Okay, that's fine. Black guy in a powdered wig. Was it a Middle Eastern guy in a powdered wig? And an Asian guy. But he still doesn't have mutton chops, you know what I'm saying? He's still Asian enough they can't rock facial hair. I'm sorry. Well, since everyone's in a racist mood, I feel like I should say some racist stuff. But this is the point. It's like not one white person. Image of a Viking. That looks kind of Native American. I guess that could go. But African woman warrior in the north. Fjording the fjords. And the Pope. A woman Pope. Yeah, that happens. And a black Pope. Yeah. I don't even think they are ever not Italian white men. No, they had some, I think that Ratzinger, wasn't he like German or something? Okay. But still, white men. And that's the point. It's like they're trying to edit it out. Edit men, white men in specific, out. All right. They had people even trying to get it to make a white person, and it wouldn't do it. They'd sue they'd give me a picture of somebody who can't dance, and it'd still be a black guy. Show me a picture of a guy eating a mayo sandwich on white bread. Native American female eating a sandwich. It's so racist. It's funny. And it's stuff like that makes me feel like I'm glad for every single day, because every single day there's going to be some new insanity to crack me the hell up. Insanity like that. And I try to explain to people, it's like, you can't get bent out of shape when you read the news. You can't do that. You can get angry and feel bad for a little while, and then, move on with your day. You can take in, feel the emotion, and let it go. So I guess some people have problems with that. Anyway. All right. Go to this last story and we're out of here. Canada pool forced to close temporarily after unexpected visitor crashed through the window. All right. My hatred of horses extends to deer, elk, bears, pretty much any creature larger than me that isn't human. I kind of trust bigger humans than me. Way more than horses. You know what I mean? A horse can do anything. A pool in Ontario, Canada, were forced to close temporarily after an unexpected patron took a swim. What does a deer pay for membership? 8 acorns? This is a new one for us. Patty Funaro, Director of Culture and Recreation for the town of LaSalle, Ontario. Fun's in her name. Let's put her in charge of culture and recreation. LaSalle, Ontario told Fox News Digital about the deer who entered the water. LaSalle is located near Windsor, Ontario, which sits opposite Detroit, Michigan on the Detroit River along the U.S.-Canada boundary. The Vollmer Center pool has been open since 2008 and remained wildlife-free until this past weekend. You're lying. You've had squirrels in there. I guarantee it. You've had rats, snakes. What do you have, like a fence around the pool? Yeah. Sorry, you've had wildlife there before. It's not something any of us have ever encountered before. He broke a window, too. Oh, so it's like a glass window. Bizarre incident began on the afternoon of Sunday, February 25th, and the LaSalle Culture and Recreation Department wrote on the Facebook page. Deer crashed through the north glass window off Laurier Parkway near the hot tub. He saw the hot tub. He just had to get... I need it. It's been a cold winter. I need a soak. A video of the deer leaping over the railing into the pool and going for a quick swim was posted on Facebook, and there's no link in the article. That's probably why I didn't get one for the show. Deer was quickly removed from the pool area. How? How can you just gloss right over that? How did that happen? The deer was quickly removed from the pool area. How? How did you do it? Tell me. Pool reopened on Monday. Just moving on. How? Who wrestled the deer down? Who's the badass lumberjack Canadian in there with a Scottish tartan plaid shirt on? Who's the Wayne? It's in there. All right, dear. We're gonna have this out, eh? You're coming out of this recreation center one way or another, if you know what I'm talking about. No, I know what you're not talking about. I'm talking about. A boat. What's it about? It's difficult to see glass on the bottom of the pool, officials said. The pool was closed for additional cleaning. I wonder if they have to drain it. And you get glass in the pool. And you go down there with a snorkel and a mask and just pick it up, put it in a bag or something. I don't know. Pool reopened on Tuesday. Scuba divers did an extensive sweep of the area. Well, why don't you keep reading the article instead of speculating, madman? Divers advised the administration they believe it to be safe for patrons to be allowed back in the pool normal operation programming beginning at 4:30 p.m. today. LaSalle Culture and Recreation Department posted on its Facebook page. Okay. They use Facebook. Got it. The hot tub, however, is still closed until further notice. The deer was probably upset about that. It's like, well, I'm going for a swim then. You think that's what happened? It's like there's an outer order sign by the hot tub and the deer stopped and it's like, damn it. Didn't see that from outside. Well, I broke in anyway. Might as well take a swim. Just rifle around the locker room, see if anybody left anything. Seriously, though, when a deer like breaks glass to get into someplace, you think maybe he was like thirsty? You know? And then he tasted it. It's like, can't drink this. This tastes horrible. And then as he's swimming in the pool, he's like, why do they even have this thing? You can't drink it. But what is this thing for? Crazy ass humans. See, I guess I couldn't find a story about a horse doing something crazy like that this week. So this is where we are. All right. I want to remind you again that I have a Patreon. Well, I have social media. Here, I'm going to get this left to right thing figured out one day. Follow me on social media if you like. You can send me money through Cash App. Use the hashtag shockmonkeyradio. Or you can become a patron. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron today. I would appreciate it. I also have books available for digital download. Check the comments in the description below. I'd appreciate that as well. Yeah, this has been Shock Monkey Radio. I'm the Madman, and I love you.